Hi, welcome to another video tutorial in which I'll be showing you how to create radio buttons in Tkinter. Now, what I'm going to do first is define a variable to store the value of the radio button that's been selected, so we know which one the user has clicked on. Then the next thing to do is define our UI elements, and here I've defined a label which is going to be displayed above my radio buttons. Then I'm going to define a radio button. Now, the way I do this is the same as any other part of the UI initially. So give it a name. So I'm going to say R button 1 equals Tkinter dot radio button, and then we say window, and then give it some text, and that will be the text that's displayed beside the radio button. So I'm going to say GCSE, assign it to a variable, so I want if the user clicks on it, I want the fact that they've clicked on it to be stored in this variable, and give it a value. So I want to be able to find out whether this is the button that the user clicked on, so I'm going to give it a value of 1. Then I'm going to do the same for 2 more radio buttons. So I've done that for 2 more radio buttons, and I've named them R button 2 and R button 3. I've given this one the text AS, and this one the text A2, and that one the value 2, and that one the value 3. Now I'm going to define a confirm button, and the user's going to press this when they've selected their option. The next thing to do is say where the button, the radio buttons, and the label are going to appear in the UI. And that's where my label is going to appear, so in the first column and in the first row. And for all my other UI elements, I'm just going to have them in the next row down from this, so the same column but the next row down, so that's going to go up by 1 each time. So I'll just do that. Okay, so you can see that these are going to be displayed all in the same column but on individual rows. The last thing we've got to do to make this work is to define a function that the program is going to do when the confirm button is pressed. So up here I'm going to define a function, call it button action, because that's what I've named it down here. And what this is going to do is get the choice of the user and convert it into the correct string. So I'm going to define a variable to store the choice that they've chosen as a string. So it's just got nothing in it now, just an empty string. Now I'm going to add in an if-else statement here to decide whether they've pressed 1, 2 or 3. Okay, so this if-else statement is saying if the choice, this variable here, is equal to 1, because it's going to be equal to one of these values, 1, 2 or 3, then they've chosen GCSE, because it's this radio button here. If the choice is equal to 2, then they've chosen AS level, and otherwise it's going to be equal to A2, because that's the other option. Then I'm just going to display what they've chosen in a message box. So my message is going to say it's going to build the string here, you're studying at, then the choice that they've selected that we've determined what it is here, and then level. And then I'm going to output that in a message box. Okay, so that should do what we want it to do. So when the user clicks on the radio button and presses the confirm button, it should display a message box with you are studying at, then the choice that they selected, and then level. Let's have a look and see what it does. Okay, so here's our window, and we've got our radio buttons here. I can select A2 and confirm. Now it will display a message box saying you're studying at A2 level. I can select GCSE, and it will do the same thing but for GCSE level. I can select AS and it will work as expected. Okay, so that's just a brief tutorial into how to use radio buttons in Tkinter. Hope you found that useful. Thanks for watching.